right, guys, here we are again with a different trailer in tow. I'm up at Big Bear right now, heading down towards Yellow Post 30, and I don't have, well, the last video that you guys would have seen from me, I was towing and playing around with a snow trailer, Alpine, and at the end of that video, I spoke about, I'm going to pester the guys over at Snow Trailers and see if they can allow me to take that trailer out and do a proper kind of lifestyle play with it out in the wild. Well, it turns out they had they're doing a show with it up in, I think, Long Beach today. Anyway, tomorrow, excuse me. So instead, they're like, hey, would you like to take an R20 out? I'm like, yeah, awesome, cool. So after playing around with that Alpine, of course, I want to play around with their other trailers. They have three or four different trailers that they offer over there. Basically, what they gave me is an R20. An R20 is a Remington version of their Baja trailer. Now, their Baja trailer is basically an 800-pound miniature version of their Alpine trailer. And so this thing is actually stinking cool. And so that's what we're doing. So right now we're driving through Big Bear Forest here, trying to find a cool shaded spot. I mean, it's a little warm in the sun, and cameras don't behave really well with direct sunlight. So if I can find a spot in the shade, what we're going to do is we're going to park this thing, we're going to get out, we're going to do a very similar show and tell, lift up the curtain as we did with that Alpine trailer just a week ago. But one thing I do want to share with you, which is funny, you'll get a kick out of this. When I was leaving Snow Trailers, getting in my vehicle, my son's in here with me, and the owner of the company, he yells out, hey, don't forget you have a trailer behind you. I'm like, yuck, yuck.
What a joker.
Guys, no more than 4 or 5 blocks away, my son and I are jibber-jabbering, playing our little in-car games, and I look behind me, I'm like, oh, bleep, bleep, I have a trailer behind me. And that's funny. It's this thing really is lightweight, and it's funny. I thought the Alpine towed really nice. This thing is ridiculous. This thing is, you really lose track that this thing is behind you. So at any rate, that said, I'm gonna pay attention to the road here. I'm gonna find us a cool spot, and I'll pick this back up here in a minute, and we'll start walking around and playing show and tell with this thing. All right, so here we are. We made it to a really awesome remote spot on the backside of Big Bear here. Everything worked out fantastic except one little mild little hiccup there. Not really a mild hiccup there. See, when I come out and shoot these videos for you guys, most of the time I have multiple cameras shooting. That one right there, with just a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This thing right here, which is a Insta360 Ace Pro, and then my trusty Canon R5. Well, as I'm getting this camera set up here, I'm getting an error 60 lens error, and I've rebooted, restarted this thing a half dozen times. I can't get it going, and lucky for me, the side profile shot that you guys are going to be looking at here is from a GoPro Hero 12. So we're gonna work with it here, but man, this is a really cool spot where I'm at. And let me put things in perspective here for you. You know what? I'm gonna put this camera back in the truck. Okay. As I'm looking around for a cool spot, I was originally hoping Yellow Post 30 was going to be available. Somebody was down there, so that wasn't really obviously going to be good for us. Then I found this little trail that you can see some people taking some vehicles over, which brings us down to here. And this is one of the things I want to point out first, before we get into show and tell with this trailer. This is a big plus for a small trailer like this. Where I'm at right now, this road, it's not even a road. I'm dodging in between trees and so forth. Any large trailer, there is no way in heck. I mean, maybe you could, but it would take you all day shimmying and trying to get through things to get it down here. I wanted to find someplace nice and covered in shade, and we have this big old tree right above us here that is going to do just that for us. And so, at any rate, all right, guys, so we're going to handle this video just like we did with the Alpine from last week. I'm going to start off on the nose of this thing here. We're just going to walk around this thing, and then I think with this one here, I think we're going to crack open the awning and the tent, because both of these are pretty interesting and very unique as well. All right, so, and actually, I'm going to get my little cheat sheet here. I was just, this morning, I was doing some little homework here and trying to get a better understanding of, okay, what are, because many of you may be asking, well, what's the difference between this one and, for example, the Alpine? And so this one starts at 800 pounds, which I mentioned this already. Now this, as I mentioned, this is Remington's, this is the R20. So this is the Baja, or I'm sorry, Remington's version of the Baja. So they're pretty much the same. You know, there's some changes with them, differences with them, but compared to the Alpine, now the Alpine, that is a 12-foot, 2-inch trailer lengthwise. This one is 2 feet shorter at 10 feet, 2 inches. Now the height of this one is 4'11", whereas the Alpine, which again was from last week, is 5'9". Now this one is 5 feet, 6 inches wide versus the 6 feet, 3 inches of the Alpine. Now this one right here also has a tongue weight of 95 pounds, which is, man, that's absolutely nuts. Okay, so make sure there's nothing else. Actually, the one thing I do want to point out on here, this is a true timber prairie wrap that's on here, which, you gotta admit, this looks pretty stinking good. So guys, we're gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna have my little trusty camera here for the close-up views here. So starting up in the front of this trailer here, we have, oh, that's right, I forgot I brought a first aid kit with me here. Okay, so you have a 100 amp hour battery, and kind of similar like the Alpine, now you have the branded R20. Now, of course, the Baja will have its own deal there, but all the electronics are behind this cool plexiglass, if I can talk there, panel here, which is going to keep all of that safe in case you want to use this for additional storage. There's your main power line, and as you can see here, this goes down quite deep there. Now, on both sides, you have a couple propane tanks, which is pretty slick. And similar to the Alpine, you have your power in, boom, and you have your solar input as well. Up at the top, you have a little bracket here with some molly panel that you can add some stuff, a couple struts on both sides. And in a weather-tight, let me put my first aid kit back in there. Boom, boom, boom. That is pretty darn cool. Okay, so you have that there. Now, again, one thing I do want to point out, this is their I think this is the second trailer these guys built. So this trailer has been around the block. Actually, as I understand, this trailer has been coast to coast a couple times. It's been, meaning out to the East Coast. It's been out in Nevada, SEMA show a few times, the SHOT Show. It has been up in Oregon a few times. This thing has some serious miles on it. It may not look it, well, maybe it does right now because it's all filthy from me dragging it through this dust pit down here. But anyways, you know, this thing looks absolutely fantastic. As I understand, this is the second trailer that these guys built right here. So this is very much, this is the OG kind of guinea pig for snow trailers.
That's what I'm talking about.
So there's a lot of stuff on here that was added on here, just kind of testing out. One thing I do want to point out of such, they have one of these water containers up here, which of course is black, and honestly, I'm not sure how this works. I believe this is one of those that works off of pressure. Okay, you put a hose back there and you fill it up right there. The sun's going to heat it up, and boom, you have some glorious hot water or pressured water when you're out at camp. Okay, so let's, as we continue here, we have this beautiful wrap here, and you can see there's a little bit of a size difference. I mean, noticeably.
That's what she said.
Visually from the Alpine, which again, this is 2 feet shorter. Now on this one, on the Alpine that we took out, we had method wheels. This one does have method wheels here. We're still running the BF Goodrich on here. Now this is a 33 on here. It's a KO2. It looks really nice, and I think you can put a 35 under here, which if I'm incorrect, I will put it on the screen here. But this is one of the things for me that just really stands out. You have this cool wrap right here. You have green highlights. You have the white Remington R20 up in the top there, actually in green R20 down there. I mean, it looks really stinking good. Now, let's crack this open here. So like the Alpine, you have side box, not quite as deep as the Alpine, but again, you have ample storage on both sides. You're going to notice a little bit of a layout difference compared to the Alpine. You remember the Alpine, the control, the brain is right in the center here. Now, you're still getting all the Renogy electronics, the brain inside of this. You have the Switch Pro right down here, and we have a 12-volt boom right there, a couple of USB-A ports right there. Awesome. And actually, look at there. You have these SNO R trailers, representing the Remington right imposed. Anyways, whatever. On the bottom of this here, which is a nice touch. There's that wrap right there. More storage back here. So you have a lot of storage. Now, also, one thing to point out, you may recall on the Alpine, I spoke about these early prototype trailers don't have the finish that is going on the production models, and that is, I believe we're going to see that in the kitchen here as well. It's that matte finish, that really cool stainless steel. This is still stainless steel and it looks nice, but you got to admit what we're going to see on the kitchen there does look better. And closing these things up works the same way. You have these little latches right here. Boom, boom. All right, now we're going to crack this open right here. Now they are, what I shared, understand, they are playing around with these sort of latches, which you see these around and so forth. I personally like these here. He mentioned that he's just testing out to see whether or not they like that. I like it. Okay, so here we go. We have the door. We have a lot of moly panel covering the inside, so you can pretty much put whatever you want on there. And ladies and gentlemen, look at all that storage in there. This is the little hose thing for the front there. And I noticed that bit that is inside there is part of this here. But anyways, all right, I'm going to put this camera down here. We're going to pull our kitchen out here. Boom, boom, bam. Boom, boom, bam. Actually, that sounds pretty cool.
That's not funny.
Okay, so here's that finish that I was telling you about. Now, one thing I do want to point out, you have this Dominic. This is for your fresh water, which we're going to see in there. There's a cavity that this fits perfectly in. That is stinking cool. Okay, so you have this little kind of Rubbermaid. It's not Rubbermaid, but plasticky lid on here. We're going to plop that up here. And you have the sink. And as I understand, hold on a second, does that fit? Oh yeah, there we go. So this fits. Oh, that's so cool. There's a magnet on here. It's funny, I was wondering how this is going to fit in there. Okay, cool. Okay, so your water fits right there. You have your hose in here that goes onto that other container there, and you're going to plug that into there. Hey, that's cool. Okay, let's do this here. So you have... That is cool. I don't think I've seen a partner stove like that. Yeah, that is a partner stove. That is awesome. I'm kind of curious what this thing looks like right here. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of partner stoves. These things are awesome. Hey, that thing is stinking cool. Okay, single burner, that is cool. Now, if you aren't familiar with partner stoves, these are made in America. I want to say up in Idaho or something like that. The company itself has a really interesting story behind it. The owners have like a fishery. They do something with trout or salmon. I forget which it is up in Idaho. I'm pretty sure it's Idaho, but man, actually look at that cool cloud over there. Look at the scenery right here. I don't mean to be ADD, have an ADD moment, but I'm looking up there, and as many of you know, I love photography, and it's just beautiful. You have this brown down here, these greens, blue, and that puffy cloud right in the center there. I don't know why I detoured off there, but I'm going to own it. You guys get to see the beauty. This is the benefit of having a trailer like this. It gets you to places that most people can't enjoy. And as many of you know, I spend a lot of my time inside my office, so I'm soaking this in. I'm absolutely loving getting in front of you folks, sharing this trailer, and enjoying all of this. I'm going to get back to this here. But anyway, it's a partner, made in USA, quality stuff. They have a great story. Again, similar to like the Alpine. The reason why I bring up a little history about the partner stoves here is like the SNO trailers, you're buying American made. You're supporting, when you buy a partner stove or a SNO trailer, you're supporting jobs, the USA economy. And that is, hey, let's be real here, that's a good thing today. Anyways, all right, so back to this here. We have this little sink that fits in there. And that is pretty cool. So when you have that hose plugged in there, you're getting fresh. You can use this water tank right here as your freshwater drinking tank. And actually, now that we're jibber-jabbering about water, I'm going to detour a little bit to the back of this here. And oh, that's right. This one doesn't have it. Okay, so the production ones, like the Alpine, this one has a 10-gallon water tank that is right between the axles. So again, like we were talking on the Alpine video, that's important because some trailers, they mount their water tanks up high and so forth, which, yeah, you know what, not the end of the world. But when you can get it down low, you have a much lower center of gravity. And when you're going through trails like what we're on right now, where the trailer's bouncing, flipping all around and so forth, having that lower gravity, weight rather, from the water tank is really going to be helpful, especially when you're tugging around or carrying around like a heavy rooftop tent. Although this tent, ironic to my statement right there, is not heavy. It's like 135 pounds. I'll put it on the screen here. I forgot what it is, but that's a super lightweight tent right there. So anyway, having that gravity, that weight down below the axles is really, really a big plus. So at any rate, this is cool. So this trailer, man, compared to the Alpine, you may recall, again, we're talking about differences a moment ago between this one and the Alpine. The Alpine has the kitchen in the back. This one has it on this really cool shaped kitchen that slides out, and then right above the kitchen, of course, you have this. This is not on a slide. This is a fixed position, but like the storage that we saw on the Alpine, you have all these bits in here that you can, fasten things down and so forth. There's a considerable amount of storage in there. That is pretty awesome. Okay, so I am going to put all of this back together. Little stove goes in there. You go in here. You go in here. You know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to take this. I'm going to plop that down there. Let's see if will it fit. No, it will not fit. Okay. So, actually, you know what? Hold on. Bam! There we go. Close that up. Grab a little. That is nice. Again, I really admire the use of space. And this is what I've said in many of my videos before. When you see a trailer like this and the engineering that these guys put in. Now, if you missed the Alpine video, I was talking about a little bit of the core. I've been following this company for about last year and a half or so. SNO trailers, in the big picture of trailers, is kind of the newcomer on the block. But don't let that fool you. These guys are they're torn from the same cloth as you and I. They are overlanders, they're off-roaders, they're campers, they love getting out. But here's where we kind of split off a little bit here. For at least a lot of us here, these guys are hardcore engineers. And so, like I was sharing on the Alpine trailer, you know, over the year, because these guys are right in Laguna, so I'm able to swing by there, and I'm doing it because I get geeked out watching what these guys are doing in terms of they're constantly redoing things, and so forth. And they have these guinea pig trailers that they use as just that. They are prototypes. They are used for R&D, and that's exactly what this trailer is. As I mentioned, this is the second trailer that these guys have bought, which I mentioned earlier. But again, this kitchen right here, I watched as they were putting this thing together, and I've seen the different versions of this, how they put this together. The original cavity, so these guys, as I spoke in the Alpine, are always looking at ways to reduce weight of their trailers. And this little kitchen bit right here is a good example. I remember the first version of this that I saw. It had kind of similar like a wing of an airplane. You had all these ribs and all this other stuff in there, but it added to a lot of weight. It was considerably pretty heavy. And so they kept going to the drawing board, and it ultimately came up with this, which is stronger, and it is also considerably lighter. And you also, as we pointed out there, you have these cavities to hold that, the partner stove that we just saw, and then of course the sink fitting in there as well. That is pretty cool stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to close this up and we're going to scoot to the back. Now, and actually one final thing I do want to point out on this side, which in a minute, we're going to come back over here. Once we've done our complete walk around, we're going to deploy the awning quick, and we're going to deploy the tent. And like the Alpine, this has a strut assist shocks on both sides of this to help get that awning up and so forth. And that is pretty cool. Now, the Alpine one, which was a prototype, this is production of what it's going to look like. The actual struts are sitting on the outside itself. And again, you have a couple pins that you're going to pop on both sides, and you're going to raise the awning up as needed and so forth. And this awning right here, as we're going to find out here momentarily, is pretty cool. Has a similar... Man, I thought I heard something. Anyways, this awning here has a similar print to what we have on the sides here, which is, yeah, I mean, again, the symmetry there and just the continuity between the bits and pieces. And again, for the sake of, if you missed the last video, one of the things that I admire about this company, I was talking in that video that a lot of companies out there, they will take third-party racks and bits and pieces and so forth, and they'll put it on their trailers. And while it fits on there and does what it's supposed to, there's not that the connecting fibers between them, and it's not built for that particular trailer. Every single part on this trailer here, from the brackets to all of these other bits and pieces here, were manufactured by SNO specifically for this trailer, for the Alpine trailer, for their Recon trailer, which is another smaller trailer that they have. Now, the cool thing about this trailer, while I'm just thinking about this here, this thing was actually designed to be towed by a side-by-side. And so now, of course, you know, those, and I bring that up because those of you with a two-door Jeep or smaller Toyotas or vehicles with a smaller towing capacity, this thing is absolutely awesome because the way, again, it was designed to be towed by a side-by-side. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video here, on the road, you really have to remind yourself you have a darn trailer behind you. But anyway, let's jump over to the back and take a look at this. Okay, so as we get to the back of this here, and just like the Alpine, you have this very kind of rough and tough back end signature look to this trailer here. You have this big old spare tire on there. You have this very square, symmetrical look. This thing looks pretty badass. You know what's funny? I have to be honest here. When I took this thing out, I took it out mainly because, hey, I get to play show and tell with you all and so forth. I honestly didn't think I would like this trailer being the size that it is. Again, it's 2 feet smaller than the Alpine. I absolutely love how this trailer tows. I actually love how this trailer, it's been fun playing around with this thing during this trip. All right, let's crack this thing open here. Now, this is what I was talking about on the Alpine. So this is a Gen 1 handle here. So you notice there's a little bit of a difference compared to the one on the Alpine. But again, everything works the same way. We have a pin over in the back side here, and you can see, again, like the Alpine, this very sturdy, well-engineered back door that's going to hold our Roto packs for our water. And it's funny, there's fuel in this one as well. So these tuck in nice and neat. This is the thing I didn't point out last time. I mean, look at this. You have the bracket that is holding the spare tire to begin with, and the Roto packs, look at that. They fit perfectly. Again, we're talking about utility and use of space here. That is pretty awesome there. But again, like the Alpine, you can see the welds, everything. There's a horsefly biting my arm here, so don't mind me. But again, beautiful construction, really well laid out. A ton of engineering was put into this arm assembly right here, and you have a single pin here that's going to lock into the plate that keeps that in place. Okay, then we're going to crack this open here. There is a little bungee thing over here. We're going to take this and we're going to wrap this around here. Okay, so as you can see here, this is, for a trailer of this size, you have a ton of storage. Now, there's a Zargus, you know I can pronounce. Anyways, you have a storage box over here. You have this fridge. Now, you can actually fit, I want to say, up to a 71-liter fridge on here. And then, of course, you have this solar panel, which is Renogy solar panel that's going to allow you to charge up. But let's set this down here. I'm going to pull this out so you can see what I'm referring to here. Oh, it's funny. That actually stays in there. So again, this is your storage panel, your solar panel, so you can plug this in and charge up the house batteries when you're in good sunlight like we are right now, although we're in shade right now. Okay, let's put this over here. And again, so we're looking at the construction in here. Everything's just well clean, and it's very well organized. I absolutely love this. So again, with this tray right here, as you can see here, this is, what size is this thing? Okay, this is a, I'm not sure the size of this thing. We have some stuff in there. We're actually utilizing this fridge here on this trip here. But here's something to think about as well. So many of you may have your fridge already hardwired and placed in the back of your tow vehicle. So you don't necessarily need to have a fridge on this. The fact is, you have a lot of storage back here, so you can fit. You have two slides here. You have this one and you have that one. And of course, this one. So this one right here, again, we have our little anchor points on both sides, which is pretty awesome. So you can, whatever you're putting into, as you can see with this one right here, you have a lot of storage. You have anchor points. You have a lot of extra space. So you can actually put an additional water bottle or food or whatever that you have here. Coming here, I had a sleeping bag or mattress, my Hess mattress on top of here. Some additional dry foods on the back of here and so forth. Some water containers on both sides here. So you have ample space. Again, for a trailer that is only 10 foot too long there, you have a lot of storage. This thing really, this is a good example of punching way out of its weight class. And one thing I do want to point out here, and don't mind the wrap, this is again, I need to repeat, this is their pre-production. This is their guinea pig trailer here, so you'll notice some little scratches there. But like the Alpine, you have some storage, which you can use for wheel chocks or whatever you wanted, wet sneakers, because you have a lot of ventilation that's taking place here. Pop that in there, and boom! Just like that. Okay, then along the bottom here, you have another 2-inch receiver here. They have an anchor point in here. And you also have a couple stabilizers that can, these are, boom. And so you just have up in the front there, you have some feet that you're going to clip into the bottom here. And then you have a chuck up there. So either with like a cordless drill, or they have a little hand winding thing up there that you can put that down. That's going to extend the legs down. You have 2 of them in the back there, so that is really going to make that, especially if you are, and I was talking about this in the Alpine video. Another cool plus with having a trailer like this is if you get to location and you want to be able to run to the store or just go off and play explore, do a little recon and so forth, you can leave your trailer behind. That becomes home base. So, but when you take it off your vehicle, and especially if you have the tent deployed and so forth, you're going to want to drop these stabilizing jacks on here, because that's really going to really cement this thing down to the ground and really give it a strong foundation. But anyway, putting these back up, you just pull this out. Works the same way as the last one. Boom, 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 and that is super easy. Now let's close up this back right here. Oh, actually, before I forget, on the back of this here, you have a big old Molly panel back door right there. Again, another snow trailer there. Nice little touch there. So again, you can fit all sorts of stuff in there, and that makes it, again, good use of space. So I am going to close this bugger up, and we're going to get to the driver's side, and then we're going to get to the front and finish this off. No, actually, we're going to jump up onto the top of this here and look at the tent deployed on this as well. Okay, get on in there. Boom, boom. Let's jump over to the driver's side. And actually, before we dive into the driver's side, I do want to point out one last thing. The suspension on this trailer. So unlike the Alpine trailer that we took out, this one has a Timbren. Now, this is a 2,200 pound Timbren suspension on here. Now, as I understand, they are playing around and toying with the idea of a FabTech suspension for that. So if you are interested in a FabTech suspension, I recommend reaching out to the folks over at SNO, and you can find out more of their timeline and when and if that will be available for the R20 or the Baja trailers. But anyways, getting back over to this here, driver's side. And one thing while we're looking over here, just like the SNO, you have a lot of internal storage. Geez, I almost forgot about this. That is underneath where the tent is mounted. Again, you have all of these holes here for anchor points. Now, like on the SNO, you have, which they didn't have it installed on here, although they did show it to me. They have these trays that fit perfectly on the top here that are going to allow you to utilize. So this is a good example of this. You can see it bare, naked. There's nothing here. So you can't, if you wanted to fasten something on top of here, you can't. But I'm going to put a little track on the page here so you can see what I was talking about on the Alpine. So they have these trays that fit right on top of the side storage boxes. So of course, as you can see with the Alpine, you can mount all sorts of additional items on top of it, whether it be wood, water containers, or whatever you want on the exterior of your trailer. Again, getting more storage. And in this case, you have some Molly panels.
What did you say?
Or not Molly panels, some traction boards up in the front here. And again, just a lot of storage underneath this thing. Okay, so on the side, we have a couple little pops. Boom. Okay, now with this open right here, you can see again, this is not production finish here. What you saw in the kitchen with the little matte finish is actually what is on production. But as you can see here, there is a lot of storage on the side here, which again is absolutely critical when you have a off-road trailer like this. Storage is king. One of the big benefits of having a trailer like this is it allows you to bring more stuff out camping. Having more stuff is going to allow you to extend your length of time when you're out in the sticks and so forth. But over here, of course, we have another R20 branding badge right here, which looks fantastic. We have the Remington R20, just like on the other side. We have the water in, which on this trailer right here, again, this is their guinea pig. They haven't added the water tank on there. But that's the water inlet for that, and that will go down to that 10-gallon tank that's down between the axles here. And now one thing I do want to point out here, we have that gritty finish right here, little Remington branding. And of course, these are load bearing. So guys, you can stand up on here, and as you'll see momentarily when we deploy the tent, that works out really fantastic to getting up high and where you need to go. Look at some more snow branding right there. Lastly, and I think before we dive up onto the tent, actually, we'll do the, what do we want to do the first? We'll do the tent first. We'll launch the tent first, and then we'll do the awning. But I'm going to close off, and again, when you look at the framing here, okay, you have, I mean, everything looks absolutely beautiful. Again, this is all dirty because I've been towing it in this dirty road right here. But you can see this is one heck of an assembly right here. Talk about a ton of articulation that is in this thing here. This is absolutely, it has been a dream to play around with this thing here. So with that said, hey, I think it's time we deploy the tent.
You can do it!
Full disclosure, this is going to be, oops, let me pause this one right here. This is first time doing this here. Okay, so actually I'm gonna unpause it. So I see a zipper here. I see a zipper here. Okay, we have that thing right there. Okay, so I am, there we go, there's the zipper, yeah! Okay, we're gonna pull this thing up right here. Is that another zipper? Boom, there we go. All right, so we're gonna flip this up all the way around. We have another zipper in the back. You'll have to trust me, it's there. We're gonna pull that up. Boom. All right, so there's a zipper that goes around. I'm going to pull this. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. Hey, that is actually pretty cool how that works. Okay, so I think with that done, I am gonna put this up here. All right, there we go. Now, as I understand, see this ladder is fixed up there, or you can put it down below however you want. This is a big tent. This is a really big tent. Let's get a good strong foundation here. Okay, is that good? Okay, cool. Okay, so I think this comes down here like this. Okay, yep. We have a couple latches down here. We're gonna plop that in. Okay. It's funny, every time I come up to the mountain here, the altitude always gets me. I'm huffing and puffing. Now I think on the sides here, we have these poles that we are going to twist and push up. Boom, there's one. And let's see if I can get up here. So this is a testament to reason why you want to make sure your base is anchored down good. There we go, boom. That is thinking cool. Look at that thing, guys. Okay, let's take a gander at this. Where's the entrance to this thing? Look at that. That's a big tent right there. Again, when you look at the original footprint, now this is a prototype Overland Venture System OVS tent here. This is a prototype Sherpa that was put on top of here. This is that whole side opens up as a big old, look at that. Guys, that's a big window right here. That covers that spot right there. That's a big tent. You know, it's funny. I normally don't like soft shell tents, but that thing is stinking cool. The colors look fantastic. It's big. Now, let's take a look at that awning over here. I know that awning is pretty cool stuff. Whoo! It is. Good thing I found the shade here, guys. Man. Otherwise, this would be brutal. This would be brutal. I would be complaining all through the video.
Kind of sounds like you are.
So this does work out good for all of us here. All right, so with the awning, obviously this thing is up high enough as it is. We have a zipper here, boom. Zipper here, boom. Okay, we're gonna flop that up. Floppa, floppa, floppa. Velcro, Velcro, Velcro. Okay, here we go. We are going to pull this thing out. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. This is cool. Look at that finish. This is what I was telling you about. Look at that finish. That is cool. Okay, so now there is, hold on. So you have legs that are up underneath us here, and let's jump over to here. Now, okay, let's see if I can do this correctly here. There are a few ways that you can secure this thing here. And I'm gonna give this a go here. So we have an anchor point up here that we can probably jam that thing in. We're gonna come back here. Boom, boom, boom. As you can see, this thing is going to fit into, oops. See if I can do this with one hand. This will be funny if I can. Okay, but all right, I'll have to do this. I'll have to play show and tell after. Okay, so we're gonna pull this in. As you can see there, that is on there. Now there's a zillion ways. You don't necessarily need to do this here. In all reality, my guess here, this is what I used to do with my old setup. You have a loop right here. I'm guessing we're gonna wrap this bungee cord through here. I'm gonna put it onto the tent. And voila, that's actually what I did. Very similar setup with when I deployed my 270, I always just anchored it to the tent. But look at that. That is thinking cool. And there's actually walls that you can put on here. So you can see there's a Velcro edge that goes all the way around here. So you can actually enclose that up. And actually, here's something cool right here. Bam! I have no idea where that came from. Bam, 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 bam. But I'm gonna own it and just have fun with it. I'm just excited to be outside of Orange County and up in the mountains. It is so beautiful up here. Okay, we're gonna plug this thing in here and now turn that bugger. And I believe any mini, because I don't think if we turn this on, that's not on yet. Okay, so there is any mini. One of these, see all these lights right here. Oh, look at that. That is cool. I bet you that looks like $1 million at night. Okay. Okay, that's auxiliary 1. There we go. Auxiliary 2 here is turning on that light right there. So, and this has a, oh. Where are you going, bugger? Where'd he go? Ugh. Okay, back on this. So you have this dimmer here, which is really nice as well. That is really cool. So again, you know what's funny? First time seeing those lights on in there. That I really like that color temperature of that white light that's underneath there. That looks very clean and against that stainless steel. Although again, not production finish here, but still, I bet you that would look cool with those little matte finish there. So that is cool. So you can control all of this right from here. I'm going to keep our fridge on because we need that. All right, guys, it's Alex from the future, and I am in someplace in Texas. I've asked the lake we're at. Where are we at?
Mineral Wells.
Midwells. Mineral Wells. No joke, that's the 5th time I've asked where the heck we are. Anyways, I'm out here with my friends with Better Outfitters. They were kind enough to let me film some of the trailers and campers and so forth that I can't get my hands on. Now, it's funny as I say that because the R20. I got my hands on one last weekend, which is the video I'm editing and putting this little clip in right now, because in that one, while I took that out in Big Bear for this video that you're watching here, that is the Prairie Camo color. This is the Sierra Tan, but there's something in that trailer, there's something in this trailer that I couldn't have shown you in that one, because that one, as I mentioned in this video, is their prototype. That is the second trailer that they had made over there, and they had used that as a guinea pig. So this is production trailer right here, R20 for Remington. Now, right behind me right here, this is cool right here. So this is a biometric safe. This is one of two that you can get with your Remington trailer. So this pops right up into here. I had them open that because it hasn't been set up yet, and you actually unlock it with a key. But that is so stinking cool. Now, I also just learned here is that you can send in whatever firearms that you have, and what SNO will do, they have all the files on these, and they can cut these foam bits out of it so it fits your firearm or your long rifle perfectly. I mean, look at this, guys. How cool is that? Come on. That is stinking cool. So if you have kiddos, you want to keep your firearms locked up safe, that is as awesome as it gets. But you can see a few things that I've noticed with this trailer that the other one, you have this black top right here, and of course, man, this color looks absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to do a quick walk around here, and I'll let you get back to one other thing I'm noticing is different. The traction boards are actually mounted on the front, just like the Alpine. The trailer that you guys are watching me on right here, these traction boards are mounted right on the top, so that's pretty cool. All right, friends, and that is it. So, hey, now that we've done this walkthrough with this here, what did you think of this trailer? Let me know in the comments down below here. You know, again, for me, originally, I didn't think I was going to like this trailer as much as I did. And the more I towed it, especially getting into some of this backcountry here and realizing, you know, for the last 4 years, you know, the size of a trailer that I was towing around, which is the size of their Alpine, man, the small trailer, while it's just 2 feet smaller, it really does make a difference in navigating around and so forth. And so I think this thing socks it way out of its weight class. But, you know, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment down below or send me a message over at 4-Wheel Drive Talk, whichever is convenient for you. And if there's anything that I left out that you would like to know about this trailer, the Baja or the R20 here, which is the Remington version here, let me know. And that said, friends, look, hey, we put these videos together to help you stay informed, make educated decisions, and more importantly, man, look, I don't know about you, but some of my favorite memories as a kid was when my parents took me out camping and so forth. Something like this gives you the added space. If you have a family, man, it is such a great opportunity. You have so much more space, so much more storage to bring your family out and have a great time. Actually, my son is back at camp right now, and he's been digging this thing since we basically picked this thing up yesterday. But anyway, that said, man, I could keep going and jibber-jabbering here with you. Like, subscribe, all that other fun stuff, and I will see you in the next video.